Hi, I finally figured out an easy way to make a video and show you what I'm talking about at the same time. I had to buy a microphone to go on my computer. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about histograms because a lot of you were having problems making one on Excel. Here's an example. I went and found another data set that has the 50 states. This data talks about the deaths from diabetes. So for example, the state of Alabama has an average of 32 deaths per year from diabetes. The three pieces of information I really need to know in order to force Excel to take this data and make a histogram are these three: the minimum, the maximum, and the range. I look at my data and I find the smallest data point. It happens to be 12.4 in Nevada. The maximum is 46.3. And when I subtract those, I can figure out that the range of my data is 33.9. These three pieces of information now help me decide how I'm going to create my bins. The bins are my decision of what's going to be in each bar on my histogram. The difference between a bar graph that would show every state and then the number that's associated is that in a histogram, we're going to show the numbers and then count how many states are related to those numbers. So thinking about my range being about 34, I think I'm going to make my bins about 10 wide. That'll give me 4 or 5 bars. So my first bin is going to be from 0 to 9. The next one will then go from 10 to 19. The next one from 20 to 29. And I continue until I've got enough to handle all of my data. Since the maximum data is 43, I can stop at the 40s. So I basically have 5 bins that are going to represent my 5 bars on my histogram. Then what I have to do is go back to my data and count how many states have a number of deaths between 0 and 9. Well, since my minimum is 12, there aren't any states, so I'm going to put 0. But I thought it was important to know that no states have numbers that low. How many states have deaths between 10 and 19? Well, I'd have to go through and count those. The easiest way to do that would be to sort my data. So I am going to highlight column A and B, go up to Data in the top toolbar, choose Sort, and then sort it by deaths. From smallest to largest, now I'm going to have the numbers in order. It'll be much easier now for me to count up how many states fall from 10 to 19. Notice that from 10 to 19 is going to be 7. 6. I can't count. How many states fall in the 20s? Well, I counted before I did this video and there's 35. There are 8 that are in the 30s and only 1 that's in the 40s. Now that I have my bins created, my choice, I could have gone every 5 or every 8 and counted up how many states fall into each of those bin categories. Now I'm ready to create my chart. I'm going to highlight my 2 columns of information and I'm going to go up and insert a column chart. That happens to be what Excel calls it when the bars are going up and down. Notice it automatically created my chart showing that I have no states from 0 to 9. I have these from the 10s, 20s, 30s, and 40s. Now, that's basically how you do it. I will leave it up to you to go in and put in your title, your unit labels, your axis labels, and your units as needed. By the way, if you really don't care about this Series 1, which doesn't help us, you can right-click and delete it. I hope this was helpful. I hope it guides you through doing this on the homework. And I am going to reopen the homework for this particular graph for those of you that would like to redo it or do it from the first time. I hope this helps. Thanks.